stores. I read that one. I read that one. I read that. I didn't read that one.
I am in pain and suffering. This has been a dark, dark night. A dark night indeed. Welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit the subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And this was an ugly one, my friends. An ugly one indeed. The Devils go down 2-0. A minute 52 into the first period. And that's all she wrote, folks. That is all she wrote. The first minute 52 was enough. I'm sorry. Let me not insult the Winnipeg Jets. They only needed 58 seconds to win the game. The game-winning goal was scored at 58 seconds of the first. That is all they needed. 58 seconds, and this one was over before it started. Don't go to the bathroom. Don't get a slice of pizza. Don't get a beer. Don't blink your eyes. The game was over before it started. I am absolutely disgusted. And wow, guys, this is just an ugly brand of hockey. Many of you predicted we would lose. And it was over before it started. It was over before it started. This one was ugly. I am disgusted. Somehow they need to bounce back tomorrow in Minnesota. Markey will be in net, and my God, this one was ugly. Completely ugly. Jake Allen was just completely out of position and swimming all over the place on those first two goals. Terrible. Terrible all around. Nemeth struggled a little bit. I mean, I don't even know what to say anymore, guys. I thought when Haula scored that goal that didn't count, it could have been, a little bit of life breathed into this New Jersey Devils club. I personally thought Keefe should have challenged it. It did seem like Haula was shoved in. I will die on that hill, and I would take the risk. You go down 3-0 on a power play that they get from losing the challenge, and so be it, because clearly we weren't going to score another goal all night anyway. Try to get the goal allowed on a challenge and hope for the best. And it's terrible, guys. This is a dark, dark time. And I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say anymore. Just no life, no anything. Boys versus men, as they say. And, wow. We are going to probably limp into the playoffs due to the Metro Division just being awful, just like the Washington Capitals did last year. And I'm in pain. I am completely in pain. This one hurts. We all could have done something more productive with our Friday night. And instead, this is what we had to deal with. Complete travesty in Winnipeg. And I don't know what else to say. It's hard to see. It's hard to see. It's hard to see through the bag. Wow. No Luke Hughes. I mean, he didn't skate. And they said he was going to play, and then sure enough, game time decision. He did not play. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And yeah, people were picking us to lose. But I didn't see that coming. A complete lifeless effort. Like, make it a game. Make it a game. And it just was never a game. What did we finish with? Let's look at the sorry game stats. Yeah. Winnipeg gets, and we did a decent job holding them to limited shots. It's just except when you completely collapse in front of your own net and lose the puck. Devils 24 shots on goal. Jets with 19. Faceoffs for 50% each. Devils 0 for 3 on the power play. That's going to make it hard to compete in the game against a team like them, obviously. 0 for on the power play. Jets go 1 for 1. So our special team's horrible tonight. Hits, Devils 31. Like to see that. That's somewhat encouraging. But in the end, what does it matter? Jets 22 hits. Devils and Jets each with 10 block shots. Devils 18 giveaways, Jets 12 giveaways, Devils 7 takeaways, and the Jets 5 takeaways. What a tragic, tragic game. Blackatron, thank you for the super. Hate to say it, but it was exactly what I expected. My prediction was 5-0, so I'm not that upset. On to Minnesota. Man, but what about, thanks to the super, Blackatron, what about the fashion in which they lost? Not only the score, but like how the game played out. I mean, obviously it would still suck no matter what. Win or lose, we booze, guys. I'm so sorry. I was distracted. Win or lose, we booze. I'm sticking with the Dirty Devil vodka, the official vodka of the great Martin Brodeur. Dirty Devil vodka, smooth as hell. And I had a couple of these during the game, and wow, I just can't believe it was over before it started, guys. It was over before it started. Cheers to all of you that watched the whole game. I did. Painful. Completely painful. I have not much else to say. I don't even know. Just this is what happens when your team is injured. Your GM does nothing at the deadline. And here we are. Stanley, so the Devils lost to the Jets. Shocking result, honestly. I'm more shocked at the complete lifelessness. Just completely lifeless. Traveling Devil, this is how good teams should beat not good teams. Yeah. The Jets are a very good team, and they whipped us. Completely whipped us. Jay Snow, I don't give about the Rangers. Yeah, I don't care about the Rangers either. Worst game of the season? Probably it's up there. First 2 minutes, we were already cooked. We were cooked in the first 58 seconds. The first goal was over. SST, trade Jack, sign Marner. Marner does not get injured at least, and a better player. With what cap space? Marner's going to get like $13 million probably. It's going to be crazy. Wise Discernment says, what a joke. Evan, maybe the Rangers deserve the playoff spot more than the Devils. Well, we're going to see. We're going to be possibly limping into the playoffs. Just a complete travesty. Evan, tragedy of a game. We were up against it tonight. There's no reason, and there's a reason they're so strong. We didn't do much of anything versus their structure. Few good looks, but not rebounds versus Hellebuck. Chico said, I told you they were going to lose out in March, Ace. Well, calm down, bud. We still got... Wait, didn't you say that before the Chicago game? You said it with 3 games left, I believe. Oh, yeah, so I guess you're talking about the both Wild. Okay. So you were saying, so far they're 0 for 1 in that final 3. They would have to lose both to Minnesota for you to be correct. And hopefully you're not correct. Everyone, no need for a bag on the head as this was an expected result. I am more upset about what happened out of town. I'm more upset that we showed no life in a big game. Turco, thanks, Brian. You look better. Thanks. I think there's a couple more of those jokes in here. Namagi, stop watching after the second goal and just kept the game running in the background on mute. Well, you missed a lot of Dano and Sal positivity. My God. Sometimes I'm like, come on, guys. Enough's enough. I don't want to hear the company line anymore. Alex is not good. We have no chance against Carolina. I still think we could, but tonight was pretty discouraging. Jonathan says, how are you going to drink with that on your head? Alex says, not the paper bag. Devils on Ace, all-time low. Another, you look better. Thanks, Wise Discernment. Mary, what's going on? Yeah, it's not hysterical, Mary. It's sad. Fentanyl Floyd, under Fitzgerald, team will make the playoffs in 2 out of 5 seasons, and they'll only make it this year by default. Anyone who celebrates, in terms of talking about the management situation, making the playoffs was despite Fitzgerald. He had nothing to do with it, really. Talk about the ultimate limp. We're limping in it terribly like Washington did last season, and the difference was, in the offseason, Washington's GM made some good moves, and they're in contention for the President's Trophy this season as a result. You know, they limped in last year. The Rangers killed them. And then they went out, made some moves, and now they're one of the best teams in the league. I don't think the same fate will be waiting for the New Jersey Devils. Unfortunately, I think it's going to just be more of the same next season. Riot and Respect, thank you for the super. This team is not the one that got us here in our playoff position. If they played with this roster the entire season, they finished with sub 70 points. I agree, but I do think even some of the other guys, injuries aside, are just not performing. This team looks, Keith is talking, night and day different than the teams we saw in December. They were scrappier. Again, people, we were, we led the league in fights at one point. We were in scrums. They were engaged. We had like this don't F with us attitude. And lately it's just been like completely disinterested. But the roster is obviously just tragic. A tragic roster right now. But thank you for the super ride and respect. Keith is talking, trying to hear this. I feel your pain, yeah. Got to fire Fitz. Keith is very calm, considering we just got smacked.
Instead of 2-1, we come out of that, take a bad penalty, and put the number one power play in the league on the ice, and it's 3-0. Yeah, I think that's the real big swing of the game. I didn't hate our game. I thought our guys were right there. I was going to give up, on the 20 shot.
Keith, very calm. He's just like, we got blown out again.
The sequences of the first 2 goals and I guess even the fourth one too. We got to do a better job there, and then
got to do a better job. Understatement of the century. Oh boy, here comes Sal.
The team hung in this game, right? They had a chance against momentum.
Oh boy.
But when you're missing this many key players,
he's giving him the injury out. When you're missing that many guys with injury,
it's a tough sledding when you're playing top teams like this and you're missing your top players. Luke is last minute, out of the game.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, losing Luke late like that's a little bit of.
The Luke thing is bizarre.
A little bit of a downer for the group.
He takes warm-ups and then they show him talking to the trainer and then he doesn't go. And then you got Chalowski in there. I just can't believe what has become of this season. Injury plagued and just another cursed year. A year wasted of Jacob Markstrom. It's unbelievable.
That's tough. Little things like that. Doesn't matter who's out. Those are our top people out there. They got to do a better job of protecting us early in the game. But I liked a lot about our game.
You liked a lot about our game. This is what makes me. You liked a lot about our game. We got skunked, my man. 4-0. You can't be up here talking about. You liked a lot about the game. Come on. You liked a lot of our game.
It's losing hockey.
It's losing hockey, yeah.
Going into a game,
yeah.
Short-handed going in, playing against an elite team, you're on the road.
This is brutal.
You can't have that. And as I said, it's not number one. When Nico's line goes out, starts the game, gets us going, and we don't take care of it from there. So it's
no.
Second goal, third goal, we've got full possession of the puck. Their second goal. We've got full possession of the
I'm
puck.
down, guys. I know a lot of you expected a loss, but I didn't expect to me, this is like a demoralizing loss. 4-0 with just a completely just uninspired out. I mean, 4-0 is going to be rough no matter what, but I just feel like it was just a terrible outing.
Situation. He wanted to play today, but he's not at 100%, and there was a good chance that playing again today would have made it worse with another game tomorrow, and obviously games still to come. He just felt it was.
I can't even.
The right thing for him and our team to give him the night off, and we'll be evaluating tomorrow and see where he's at. But
Luke might not play tomorrow too. I mean, obviously that's kind of common sense. Oh my God. Ugly game, not a lot of energy. We were poor. Now we need to regroup. 2 big ones versus mini. We'll be there. Tons of Devils fans expected. Let's get after Wild. Set tone for 4 huge points. Oh, man. I mean, I try to stay optimistic as much as the next man, but if you're talking about trying to win 2 games versus Minnesota, after tonight, I'm just kind of numb right now. Nicole, what's up? You got to give a link to the fashionable bag mask on your socials. I don't even know where this bag came from, actually, because they outlawed all the bags in New Jersey a long time ago. And so this must be a vintage relic that was dug up from somewhere because, they haven't been giving these things out for quite some time. But any old paper bag will do, Nicole. You just get yourself a paper bag, you cut 2 holes in, and you put it over your head, and you drink up beforehand, and it is what it is. Michael, the game was over in 58 seconds of a 60-minute game. Sorry, guys, I didn't have to take a shit tonight. The Devils did, though. Get back in the bathroom, Michael. Get back in the bathroom. 0 offense. Understatement. Dire Straits, good luck bouncing back. At this point, I don't even know, guys. I mean, this is just... Stanislav, I turned it off after the second goal. Well, you saved yourself some more pain and misery. Antonio, you just clicked into another group therapy session. Jay Snow says, by tomorrow, we'll only be up by 5 points. And supposedly, even with the loss, we're still like 96% to make the playoffs. Again, I don't know where they come up with these odds. Ryan's laughing. Devin, hi, all that sucked. It definitely did. Dire Straits is going to get hot inside the paper bag. Antonio, are we this deep in the trenches? Yes, we are. We absolutely are. Fentanyl Floyd, the only thing that's going to be bouncing is us in the first round. It couldn't be worse with the loss, and now the paper bag on Ace's head. Stanislav says Nemitz was bad. Yeah, he struggled. He's a young guy trying to get his way back. It's just that we're in a bad spot right now. Bad spot. Nemitz belongs in the ECHL. I think that's a little dramatic. I mean, maybe the AHL. ECHL, come on, give him some credit. Brian Ace, think you're in denial thinking this team had a chance tonight. The team can't compete against average or better teams. It is true, but they have. I just keep hoping to see glimmers of improvement and something like what we saw last year, or earlier in the season, rather, last calendar year, 2024. We beat the Panthers twice on their home ice. Like, they showed it. I don't know what the hell happened. Devil said even before the game, I knew that they were going to lose. That seems to be the sentiment on most of you had. Vic says Casey over Nemitz. I don't use X that much. But during the game, I did say I've seen enough or something. I want to see Seamus Casey. His whatever deficiencies they believe he has on defense be damned, right? Like, for a team that just can't score goals, put Nemitz in. I mean, put Casey in. He's a threat from the blue line for offense. We need offense desperately. Desperately put Casey in at this point. Like, what do we have to lose? Chief Keefe says Nemitz is nowhere near an NHL D-man. Lucas, March has been so bad. I hope April's better. Evan, playoffs far from a lock. Minnesota game's big as we go into April. They're big, but we're probably still just going to limp. Just like a beaten dog, just walking into the playoffs. Evan says I was dead wrong about this game. Chico, they're going to lose out in March and go 3-3 in April to back into the playoffs. Terrible. Terrible. Riot and respect. Ace, it went exactly as I thought it would tonight. Complete snooze fest and uninspiring hockey. It's exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was. Off dem Devils. Thank you for the super. Fitz got glass and thought we would win out. Let's go Devils. Yeah, I mean, my thoughts on the trade deadline, well documented. Obviously, anything of substance at the deadline could have helped this group. And now, more injuries happen, and it's a built-in. I'm not going to give the excuse, but it's a built-in, it seems like, excuse for Fitz. What could we have done, right? Dougie out for the year. Siegenthaler out for the year. We lost Jack for the year. Nico missed a ton of time. It's like, Markey missed 5 weeks. It's just, and it is unfortunate. But in the end, you cannot constantly keep leaning on injury. Injuries are going to happen. It's part of the game. And we've been really screwed with them in the past couple of years. But to consistently use that as a crutch to lean on, your team shouldn't fall apart with injuries. Every team gets injuries. So I'm just tired of it. I'm kind of numb to all of this. It's super unfortunate. 2 years in a row, not a lot, and nothing was done potentially or practically in season. And here we are. The only difference between last season and this one is last year we were out of the playoffs hoping to claw in, and we just fizzled out and died. And now it looks like we're going to back into the playoffs and then fizzle out and die quickly in the playoffs. It's gross. It's completely gross. Nicole, can we talk about Nemitz now? He for sure has potential. I just don't think he's a good fit for us. I don't know if it's because the getting sent back to the AHL messes with his head, but he doesn't fit anymore. He's still young and he's trying to fight through it. I still think he's going to be a good defenseman one day. But in the end, there's other guys I would rather see. Put Hataka in. At this point, whoever else you got. I don't even know. How much did Nemitz play tonight? 16:32, yeah. Chico, I mean, the Caps did retool over the summer, and look at them now. Maybe that's possible for us too. Chico, the difference is they have a GM that has a clue. Don't think that we're gonna, turn it around miraculously like they did, because I have no faith in that. No faith whatsoever. Stanley says, okay, if they play like booty cheeks tomorrow, then there may be problems. My expectations now are just basement level. basement level. Stanislav says, I am watching Mufasa the Lion King. Oh, boy. Hello, Jessica. Dire Straits says, I am defeated, as am I. Eddie, at least we can watch college hockey. Yeah, Boston University and our big-time prospect, Mikhail Yegorov, in net for BU tomorrow. It's an afternoon game, I believe. I think it's at... They're playing Cornell. 4 p.m. 4 p.m. tomorrow. Former Devil Jay Pandolfo coaches his team in the next round of the NCAA tournament, looking to advance to the Frozen Four. Good luck to Jay Pandolfo and Yegorov tomorrow. Brett Pesci looks furious. He looks furious. John Fay, I just came back to say what a night, and I come back to ace the bag on his head. That means we've reached an all-time low in disappointment performance. For me, it was just tragic. Brian Decker, atrocious. Ryan Call, Hadaka. Yeah, I don't know why he hasn't been used. It's crazy to me. We went out there and got Dumoulin and Chalowski at the deadline. Who knows how much time Luke's going to miss now. So now we're going to probably see for another game or maybe more, see Nemitz and Chalowski in the lineup. My God. It's just painful. Beachmaster's number 5, another big body that can't hit. Dylan can hit. Jessica, I miss Jack. Devin G, pulling Luke makes me think they know we would lose and played like that too. I don't know about that, but if he's hurt, they're not going to risk it. Jace, no, they're not good and played lifeless. I completely agree. I'm going to have to skip ahead here. Ryan, in respect, if I have to listen to Bryce Sugarcoat and look for moral victories, I'm going to down bleach. So that's kind of his job. He's a company man to the end. I mean, it is what it is. Louis NJ says, are you Fitz? Tomorrow you'll think there's problems if they lose. Where have you been for 3 months? Just to reiterate, your boy Ace, I put out a video that said I'm pressing the panic button on January 20th. That was 9 weeks ago. I thought the writing was clearly on the wall 9 weeks ago. Something had to be done. And an active GM would have seen the problems that the whole world did and made some moves earlier. I mean, you saw Colorado replace their goaltending tandem. They're like, our goalies suck. They go out and get 2 former Devils. They go and get Scott Wedgwood, and then they go and get Mackenzie Blackwood. I mean, it's not as difficult. I'm just people that buy the bullshit line of, oh, it takes 2 to trade, blah, blah. GMs that are good at their job make shit happen. There is no excuses. This is a result-oriented business. You go out and get players. That's it. 9 weeks ago, it was very clear. Those back-to-back losses at the Rock to Philly and Ottawa were just shit performances. And I'm like, okay, it's more than a slump. It's more than a little slide. This team has some real issues. Go out and get some guys. We did nothing again the second year in a row, and here we are. And for people to applaud a playoff berth, shame on you. Shame on you if just getting to the playoffs and, oh, glad we didn't make any moves. This team was flawed. Bullshit. Cristiano, I think the Jets not getting much in the way of shots, then letting off the gas. They didn't need to gun it. It was over at 1-0. It really was.
Minnesota, you have to understand, hey, these guys are rested. They didn't play tonight. We're on the second half on a back-to-back. We have to come out and beat.
Brian J, as our team is currently constructed, I repeat, we are one of the worst teams in the league. We are in the same category as Sharks, Hawks, Flyers, Buffalo, Nashville. Team doesn't deserve the playoffs. We're definitely not that bad. We have some high-end talent, but I mean, we're just very mediocre. The definition of a mediocre team.
Keep low scoring within one shot, either for you guys so you can either tie it or win it going into the third period.
Devin says, when did you make that bag? After the first minute and a half? No, I just did it after the game. James says, I'm becoming an alcoholic watching this team. That makes 2 of us. Joseph says, get rid of Keefe and bring in Tortorella. We sucked. I love Torts, but I don't think it's Keefe's fault. This team is just broken. Literally so many injuries, guys just collecting a paycheck, as some of you had pointed out to, and it's just fundamental terribleness. Joseph Phoenix, next season, probably my last as a season ticket holder. Love this team, but organization is weak. I think that's fair. And, you're a brave soul for having season tickets for a multitude of reasons. I love going to games, but every game for a team like this, and I'm not going to get into all the season ticket stuff, but it's just much easier for me to decide when I want to go and not deal with it. Jace, no, play Big Mac so we could have some balls. I would love to see it, but I fear we may have seen the end of McDermott for sure for this season. He might not play again. It's terrible. Snell says, when Timo hit the post in the first power play, I knew it was over. it definitely had a very kind of dark aura to it on a night where people were saying early on, like, here comes another shutout. It did seem like one of those nights. We had a couple other chances. I think maybe Bratter or Nico. Someone fired one up high that Hellebuck got a piece of it with his glove. But yeah, after that power play, I was like, oof, we're probably in for just a painful suffocation type loss, and that's what happened. Fentanyl Floyd says Fitzgerald held his team and coach out to dry. Could not agree more. Bonzo, goal should have counted, pushed into goalie. I thought so. I thought that was definitely worth challenging. And if you lose the challenge, then so be it. Rely on your penalty kill. But I think had we challenged, and obviously it's a big if it had counted as a goal, 2-1 puts a little life back into the team and maybe changes the course of the whole game, but we'll never know. Chico, not to be a dick, but I can't understand how anyone can be surprised by this team anymore. They've told us who they are, and that's a bad hockey team. It's true. Hoping and wishing keeps some of us fans just hopeful. But the reality is you are correct. They have showed us who they are night in and night out. And terrible. And Snell says, got to stop the 5-forward power play. Give Hughes power play one time. We don't usually have a 5-forward power play. We saw that earlier tonight because Luke was out, so they put Nason in and then kind of put Timo on the point. But normally Luke Hughes is on power play one. Jason says, how would this team ever make it through 4 rounds, Ace? They're way too soft. Probably. Marta says Hughes was out tonight. Zach, Donato got a hat trick against Vegas tonight, and I got screamed at on Twitter for saying we should have traded Nemitz and Dawes for him. One of the many guys that we could have brought in that would have helped this team. Obviously, those of you that have been with me for a while, you saw a couple months back, I made a video about Taylor Hall. The guy's got 5 goals in the last 2 games. He would have been a great guy to bring in. And the reality is, especially now with all the injuries, Taylor Hall, not only would he have been a bottom 6 upgrade, he would be on our top 6 right now. Crazy. But yeah, who needs Taylor Hall, right? We don't need him. We're good. Our forwards are real deep. That was another whiff. Khalil, Ace, the Devils didn't do bad in the first power play. They almost kept the puck in their zone. It's terrible. Completely terrible. Bonzo says Meier must lead the league in goal posts. He's probably up there. Off them Devils. It's okay. Monday, I'm predicting 4-3. I'm predicting 4-3 victory over Mini. That's pretty bold. I would say that's pretty bold. What about tomorrow's game? Chico, don't get me wrong. I'm not correct either. I'd rather be wrong every time and have the Devils win, but I just can't get my hopes up for this specific roster anymore. Retool is obviously necessary. A retool is, at this point, I might even call it more than I guess it is a retool, but you're talking about like potentially 6 players. Like you could make the argument that we need 6 players, and maybe it's crazy. It's really crazy. Joaquim, I feel like the longer Nemitz's career goes on, the worse he gets. It seems like he's struggling mentally a little bit. We saw him look pretty decent last year. He got bounced up and down this year, in and out of the lineup since he's been here. And at this point, I don't even know anymore, guys. I don't even know anymore. It's just super painful, man. Just another wasted season, barring some miracle run. I just can't believe in it anymore. Would love to see it, but I can't believe that they're just going to flip a switch and be a different team after what we've seen all season, or at least from, the 2025 calendar year on. I need to find this Dirty Devil vodka up here in Westchester. I need a drink after this crap. Go on their website. They have a locator where you could find it in stores near you. And worst case, if you can't find it there, you could straight up order it online and they'll ship it to you. So cheers to all you Dirty Devil drinkers and whatever else the hell you're drinking. What a season. Snell says Luke needs to be on the power play, not 5 forwards. Luke did not play tonight, and he normally is on the power play. But tonight, obviously, he didn't play, so he could not be on the power play. Samuel, who the hell would want to sign here with this play? That is a fair point and a big kind of worry area for me is that barring overpaying for guys, it is true. What is your advantage? You could only sell guys a line of bullshit for so many years. You're going to tell them, oh, everyone saw the moves that were made last year and this year, and they're less than impressive, and players aren't dumb. Like, I would have said maybe after last year, you could kind of convince guys that this was a place to sign that was really going to try to win. After we did what we did, or didn't do, rather, at the deadline this year and sitting on all that LTIR money, I think there's no more trying to give that sales presentation to convince people that this is a place to come and win, because who's believing that? Chico, Sheldon Keefe is a great coach. He's made the most of this awful Devils roster. I agree with that. Fentanyl Floyd says, I think Keefe is just at peace with the inevitable. I hope not, because the crazy part is, even if we did finish with a garbage record going into the playoffs is like a whole new world. But what is going to change within the team to wake them the hell up and get them to just start performing? Who knows? But obviously we will be a massive, massive underdog to the Canes. All right, hold on one second. I got to grab something. I'll be back 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right back. I want to turn this TV off too. I don't even want to hear anything anymore. Garbage. Painful garbage.
Just hard work by Townsend. Just tough, solid hard work.
Yeah, it's crazy, guys. Was any poor souls in this chat at the game by any chance? I'm curious. Was anyone there? Richard, technically this game was over at 17:34 the first period. I nearly threw up a great dinner when I heard Luke was being sat for precautionary reasons. What else could happen? This is just... It's terrible. Paul Pass, I'm at a loss for words. I was a big Fitz guy, but my God, I'm done with him now. Kova extensions was the final straw. Kova is more of the last 20 game players, not the first 20. Exhausted of the shit. I still think Kovacevic was good. I wanted him to be re-signed. I know a lot of people are, kind of complaining about that. But in the end, if you're being honest with yourself, if you're going to start listing the sins of Fitz, Kovacevic being signed to that deal would be way at the bottom of the list. There's so many other things above that to find fault in, and it's crazy. Force, explain this. Devils in the O-zone, no room to take shots. Devils in their own zone, so much room for the other teams to just fire bombs. Because we're not a great team, Force. We are just not a very good team right now. It's been, Fentanyl Floyd, it's been 2 bad seasons now. Enough of the moral victories. I'm done. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it anymore. Win now. Win now. Again, I keep talking about it. People said I was crazy for this. Do you think Nicohischier is going to be happy here with another shit season like this? 8 seasons he's won a single playoff round, guys. Nicohischier and Jesperbratt. 8th year in the league for each of them. 1 playoff round won, 6 playoff games won. That is not a good track record whatsoever. Stanley, Ace, it's almost April. The boys are worn out like an overused sponge. Combined with the injury situation, it's just a shit show. Not trying to make excuses, but their ball jerk-off GM is to blame. I think I have to put some of the onus on the players as well in this situation, but obviously I put a huge portion of the blame on the GM as well. Reinforcements needed to be brought in. I'm just over the excuses, and there's no more excuses. It is what it is. Diego, these Hughes brothers need to drink milk. They're made out of glass. They still got boy bodies. They'll eventually fill out, but Jack's injuries is a concern. Luke hopefully only misses a couple games. Yusuf Phoenix, maybe Keefe is smoking what Lindy was. You guys that are doubting Keefe, the Keefe is not the problem, guys. This guy has a roster, or a lineup rather, tonight dressing 7 guys that may not play on other NHL teams, including 2 of them on defense. You're talking about a pairing. You have a defensive pairing worth 2 guys that would not play on other teams, and Chalowski and Nemitz. What are we talking about? You can only do so much with what you got. And I'm not excusing it from an organizational level with the injuries, but I will give a pass to Sheldon Keefe because he's had a subpar roster for most of the season. Brian, I guess the officials, you call them the officiators. The officials were biased tonight, and they were looking to please the fans. Turn the goal to no goal. Hall gets pushed into. Mercer gets a late hit and bleeds. They overturn it, no penalty. Well, it was Mercer's stick on the replay. And so that one, I'm fine with the Mercer, the non-call on the, originally they called it a double minor or whatever and then reviewed it. But the guy did check Mercer's stick into his face, and so that was the right call. But I do believe the Hall goal should have stood. Jason, first game I haven't bothered to watch. I'll guess they lost 4-1. Oh, you wish they scored a goal, my man. That was another donut on the scoreboard, 4-0. Chico, Ace, what do you honestly expect Keefe to say? He's got nothing to work with. If he just stays a hard ass, they're going to tune him out, and then it is really over. He's waiting for the offseason like us. That's such a shame. Such a shame. Louis, I'm so tired of losing too many years of the shit. Louis, I'm right with you, man. It's just another year where my emotions were toyed with. I told everybody I did believe after the 22-23 season, it was like our arrival. And it's like, okay, this new core is going to be here now, and we're going to be a perennial playoff team. And that just turns out to be false. It turns out to be false, that was a fluke and an anomaly. The reality is this team is not very good. And it's unfortunate. Dire Straits says loser franchise. Man. Chico says Torch just quit on his team. We do not need Torts. Vic, smash that like. Thanks. Thanks. Brian Decker, my girlfriend wants to do it, but there's just no way. After this game, the fan base has hit an all-time low. I'm so sorry to hear that, Brian. Chico, Hall would definitely try to fist fight Torts in the first week. You guys are yeah, this is just an ugly one. Again, I always said big wins or big losses. Everyone's got something to say. Stanley says plastic bag is more appropriate at this point. Amagi, paper bags aren't outlawed. Companies just don't want to supply them anymore. Cost them money. Home Depot used to. Now they don't even bother selling them for 5 cents each. I thought the bags were straight up outlawed in New Jersey. Are you sure they're not? I thought they were. Devil Dog says these players in the franchise with its analytics will not tolerate Torts. He's not a 2025 coach for 2025 NHL diva coddled players. I think so. I kind of agree with that. But in the end, like, what is Torts going to do with a lineup consisting of 7 or 8 guys that would not play on other teams? I mean, again, you could revive some of the all-time great coaches from the dead, and they're going to have troubles with the guys we iced tonight. Marta, I try to stay informed and learn when I like some sport, Jason. No, it's 3 a.m. where I live. Wow. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't be awake. Trust me. Shout out to you, Marta. 3 a.m. where you live. My God. Jay Snow, he did just say that. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but I try to stay as much of a family show as possible. Devils, I can't go to sleep, bro. After that, I mean, before the game, I expect them to win tonight. Let's go Devils. Man. Vic, it's almost like they didn't bother playing tonight. It's the Jets. Alex, limping into the playoffs like the old family dog that needs to be put out of its misery. All right, I got to try to skip ahead here. I apologize if I can't get to your comment. I try my best, guys. There's so many comments. A couple people have been chirping me as of late. Like, you don't put my comments up. Like, there's hundreds of comments in here, I believe. I have no way of counting them, but I try my best. There's a million comments on here. I can't possibly get to all of them. And just to explain to you a little bit, right now where I'm scrolling, the comments I'm looking at right now are 1053. So I'm super far behind and trying to get caught up to more, current comments. But I apologize. I try my best. There's no way I could get to all of them. Alex, my UMass Minutemen knocked off Minnesota. Very nice. I had a very good friend that went to UMass Amherst when I was in college, and some of the greatest weekends of my life took place in Amherst. So shout out to Amherst. Antonio's Pizzeria and the bars over there at the time, I think it was called The Pub and Monkey Bar. What a run. We're talking, this is going back almost 20 years ago now. Damn. I'm still trying to catch up here. Very chatty group. Very chatty group. Look, it takes 2 to trade, bruh. Stanislav, thanks. Thumbs up for Ace, not the Devils. I mean, it is what it is. Just give me the thumbs up. I don't even care anymore, guys. These things are painful to do. Shout out to all of you for coming out after terrible losses. This is just, I have nothing to say to cheer you up. I wish I did, but this was just terrible. John Wooden says, Ace thinks we have Meier, Bratt, and Nico. We add a few guys and win multiple playoff rounds. Well, I mean, what's a few guys? I think we need like 5 or 6 guys. But those are some good building blocks, are they not, Woodson? Obviously, Jack Hughes is part of the group as well for next season, gone for this year. Benjamin, Riche crossbar memories, number 44. Stefan Riche, what a legend. Holy shit. There's a lot of comments here. I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to skip ahead to Antonio. We need some new players, but Jesus, Sheldon ain't helping. I mean, again, what do you guys want him to do? He has a lineup every night with tons of guys that you wish were not playing, but because of the injuries, he has to play them. What, outside of going on the ice and actually doing something, what do you want this guy to do? I'm sure he's probably more frustrated than anybody. He has a front row seat to this mess and got no help. Daniel, why do they never disclose what the specific injuries are? I think it's just because, you know, if someone says, you know, even say Jack Hughes is a little nicked up and they're like, oh, his right shoulder is hurting. Well, guess what? If you're a defender on the other team, you're aiming for that right shoulder. And so you never want to really tip your hand, you know, show your hand too much of what exactly is hurting because it will become a target for other teams. And so they keep it very, very vague with the upper body injury and lower body injury. Essentially, that's the only 2 things I think the Devils are going to give you. And then obviously day to day and week to week in terms of the time frame for them to return. Benjamin says, Keith can't let a fire under these soy eaters. He lacks the grit, and that is why we lack the grit. I disagree with that as well, Ben. I think the players lack the grit, or at least most of them. There's only so much this guy could do. And as to someone else, what else, you know, someone pointed out, he made one very nothing comment in a post-game press conference, and the internet went crazy with it. Like, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I don't think anything he's going to say is going to magically turn this team around and make them play with more heart. They have to want it. James, paper bag over your head. Did I plant that seed in your head 2 post-game shows ago? Maybe subconsciously, but I had worn a paper bag over my head at some point last year as well. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last, unfortunately. James, I'm 63 and a diehard fan. I missed the Lou. I think we all missed the Lou. We all missed the Lou. Stick Figs, what's up? Ace, if the team didn't want to show up tonight, then you certainly don't have to, but we all respect you for showing up. I mean, the show must go on, right? The show must go on. We have a group drinking commiseration that needs to go down, but my God, it's painful. Alex, TSN commentators described the game as boys versus men. It certainly looked like that for most of the game. Tragic. Jay Snow, this decor is a joke, and we got robbed with the Dumo ad. Yeah, I thought that was a little bit of a head scratcher. Again, I think a much better usage of the second-round pick would have been to get Zetterlund. That one will forever bother me because there's tons of other guys available too. But since they didn't get traded, people will, the defenders will say, well, that guy didn't get traded. So then you need to only use examples of guys that were actually traded. And so the one that I'll just keep using is Zetterlund. How do you not get Zetterlund back for what it took to get him from San Jose? I mean, that's a no-brainer in my opinion. SST, if the Devils don't win a round next year, they have to start listening to the Nico trade offer so he does not walk out for free. What a sad day that would be. An absolutely sad day. And I think it is it's at least a possibility. I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but for anyone saying that this is not a real possibility, your head is in the clouds because this is a very real possibility. The Devils try to extend him. He says no, maybe. He wants to wait. He plans to get to free agency. Well, then they are going to trade him. But we still got, another season and plus before we have to worry about that. But it'll be a very dark day. Zach says, someone just told me you don't trade a number 2 pick for a middle 6 winger. Bro didn't notice we traded a first-round pick for Cody Glass. We traded a number 7 overall and a goalie for Paul Cotter. Sometimes you got to, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. In the words of the wise Kenny Rogers. But I wouldn't want to, maybe I would have done that deal. Like, the bar kept getting lower and lower for me. Originally, like, going into the season, I would have been like, I'm not trading Nemitz unless it's for like a huge impact player like a Brady Tkachuk. Then leading up to the deadline, I was perfectly okay if we had to trade him to get a guy like O'Reilly or McCann. I probably would have included him. I'm not saying 1 for 1, but I wouldn't have been against including him in the deal. And I still have hope that he's going to be good. He's still very young, guys. So I don't know, the Donato one I'm on the fence about, but it's not some ridiculous notion. I'll at least give you that. James, instead of watching the game, my fiance and I decided to go ice skating at Menon Arena in Morristown. I wore my Scott Stevens jersey and the DJ gave me a shout out. Very nice. That was a much more productive usage of your Friday night than watching this team just not show up in Winnipeg. How many shutouts was this? I believe we've been shut out 7 or 8 times on the season. I think 7 or 8, which is crazy. I'm trying to see. 1. All these sites make this shit so complicated. It's 7 or 8. I don't feel like looking it up right now. Evan says, sick of losing, but playoffs are important. Experiences invaluable. Completely agree. But limping into the playoffs like a deer that was shot, trying to escape and just slowly bleeding out before its imminent death as the hunter follows the blood trail. That's kind of what it feels like. Antonio, enough with being reasonable. It looks like another day in the office after we get humiliated time after time. It could be, and probably is upper management at play, but yeah, it is upper management. Yeah, Jay Snow, you're crazy. This guy. Oh, man, Jay Snow is hilarious. Antonio, how much can we take? I'm going to keep taking it season after season. And like I said, I will go down with the ship. If you didn't see the video, if you did not see the video, I'll put the link in the description. But this is pretty much, I think, a very accurate kind of, I guess, picture or whatever you want to call it, portrayal, slight movie about where many of us are. But I think this video I put out a couple days ago sums it up well for all of us. And if you haven't seen it, I just put the link in the chat. Check that out when you get a chance. Pet shops have plastic bags. That's interesting. I haven't been to a pet shop in forever. Amagi, plastic bags are outlawed. Paper is supposed to be the replacement, but stores just rather customers bring their own reusable bags. I can't stand it. Give me bags. I always forget bags. I tried to keep one in my car, so if like I randomly have to go buy something, I have a bag in my car, but then eventually I use the bag and then bring it inside to bring my shit in, and then I forget to reload my car with the bag. It's been a constant strain on my life ever since these bags were outlawed. I'm not going to lie. Stanley says Keefe has nothing to work with because his boss is a yes man that was gifted a job he was never qualified for. Booze faces shit. Oh, man, you guys are brutal. Devin, that's a good thing, man. Channel is growing. What's a good thing? What's a good thing, Devin? I'm all over the place. I'm trying to get to the comments. There's just a lot of them. People are pissed off, and rightfully so. 6K subs. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Thanks, Devin. But, yeah, I'd rather see this team win some games. Ariel, I'm not surprised by this loss tonight. It's win one, lose one with this team. What happened to this team after Hanukkah? They fell apart. When does Hanukkah end? The team started to suck December 28th. We won that beautiful Rangers game at the Rock on December 23rd, heading into the holiday break. Then we came out of the holiday break, won a beautiful one at home on the 27th against the Canes. And then we went to Carolina on the 28th. Timo got suspended for the hit on Natchez when he rolled around like he died. And then ever since then, it's been just downhill. Completely downhill. Riot and respect. Thank you for the super. Per Amanda Stein, they showed us how it's done tonight, nicohischier, when your top line center knows the grass is greener on the other side. Again, right? Some people would tell you you're crazy, Riot and respect. I wouldn't. I think if you read between the lines, I'm not saying that means he's gone. I'm not saying anything like that. But again, Nico is a very smart guy, smart player. He realizes what winning culture teams do in game and off the rink, what they do on and off the ice. And when upper management makes a commitment to winning, and you see buy-in from the players in their systems, and they have the personnel in place to carry out a game plan and win games like this, they're in contention for the President's Trophy for a reason. And again, that is a quote of a guy that realizes he played against an elite team tonight. And the Jets and probably 27 other teams in the NHL would be willing to back up the Brinks truck for him in free agency. But thank you for the super ride and respect. Much appreciated. But yeah, the guy's not dumb. He sees what winning cultures are all about. And the Devils, unfortunately, are not one of them. Man, what a dark day. I don't even know. If it came to that where we trade, if we were to trade Nico, it'd be such a dark day. Such a dark, dark day. Antonio says to Chico, rage after every game. He hasn't raged once. No emotion, zero emotion. I agree, but you don't know what he's doing behind closed doors. I don't need to see the emotion, but I'd like to see it once in a while. And then Chico said, bro, he just called out Kova. I mean, that was the only thing we've seen. He had on his poker face the entire season. Game 71, he broke. But wow, Chad. Hey all, anyone here remember me from the pregame chat a few hours ago? I would think so, Chad. I do. More infighting. Everyone, can't we all just get along? Chad, how dare you? I cashed on Jets minus 1.5 puck line. That's such a dirty thing to do. Such a dirty thing to do. And I agree with this, Chico. You don't know what he's doing in the locker room. Off them Devils. The live stream is better than the games lately. That's said, but I appreciate that. I'll take it as like a backhanded compliment. But that's really an indictment on how bad some of these games have been. Devil Dog at Alex, don't make fun of our family pet. That's what happens when you give a 35 millimeter camera to a middle school kid. Very nice. You got the old school camera still. Evan, off season is important. What we will do if it's with anyone other than Fitz, I think we see something better than what the clown currently in office as GM does for us. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. He's going to be here again next year. Y'all boomers never heard fee-fees before? I forget. Chico, how old are you again, Chico? I forget. My bad. I try to keep up. Chico, I'm curious how old you are. Off them Devils. The Devils are so injured, I'm suiting up tomorrow. Good luck. Good luck in your debut. Roland, 83 points, games remaining at Minnesota versus New York Rangers versus Boston versus Pittsburgh versus New York Islanders, at Boston versus Detroit. How many points we finish with? Any scenario, we win more than one playoff game. T-Hall has 5 goals in 3 games. Fitzy sleep. I mentioned that earlier. I put out a video about it. I thought it was worth getting Taylor Hall. A lot of people kind of clowned me and was like, oh, but, and I'm the first guy to say I hate all of the constant reunions that people are kind of talking about online. Some reunions I think are worth exploring. A lot of them are not. But I thought Taylor Hall was definitely one worth exploring. I made a video about it 2 months ago, and a lot of people flamed me for it and were like, oh, Taylor Hall's done. Well, Taylor Hall's no more done than half or more of our forwards, and clearly would be an improvement on any line you put him. So once again, I will pat myself on the back, because for people to still say we didn't need Taylor Hall or someone like that, you're just in denial. Completely in denial. Samuel, remember the days of having 3 lines that could actually score and a 4th line that could just smash people? I remember it. Terrible. Stanley says, imagine coaching Austin Matthews and then having Palat on your first line for the majority of the season. Yeah, that was the season. That was the sad reality of the season. You know, that was a top 6 guy was a big hole. Obviously, Fitz took a swing and a miss. I'm not going to kill him for this one because it was a low-risk, high-reward move for not a lot of money, but he tried to recapture some of the 22-23 magic with Tatar, hoping he could be a top 6 guy. That didn't work out. Mercer never really settled in there fully. Then all the injuries happened, and it's been a constant shitstorm. A constant shitstorm. Dr. Brian Ace, do you make good money off YouTube? Absolutely not. I will tell you, I have spent between equipment, travels, and other things related to it, I've spent way more than I've made. I don't do it for money. It's nice to make a couple bucks to offset the extreme costs of doing this, to be honest. But good money off of YouTube, absolutely not. To make good money off YouTube, you need to be absolutely enormous and like enormous. I'm talking like, a few 100,000 subs. I have some friends that do it professionally, but the money from YouTube is nowhere near what people think. You need to be beyond massive to make any sort of real money on the platform. The Keith hate is just bananas. I completely agree. I mean, how is he the guy you blame for all of this? Chico, this is one of the mentally softest teams I've ever seen. I can't say you're wrong there either. Keith hate is bananas, but so is the love. I mean, where's the love? I don't know that I'm loving per se, but I'd be much closer to loving than hating. I'm very neutral. Again, I think he's been dealt a horrible hand, and he's the last person I'm pointing the finger at. And at least we're not Buffalo Cerberus. It doesn't make me feel any better. It really doesn't. Yeah, it could always be worse, but in the end, it's pretty damn bad. And knowing that there's teams in a worse spot than us does not make me feel any better at all, to be honest. Beachmaster, they asked Keith if any strategy with Jack had. He said players need to play better. I mean, it's kind of true. Jason Nelson could have had Zetterlund, Sturm, and Glass. That would be, I would have called that I wouldn't have called it like a wildly successful deadline day, but I would have said it was an adequate deadline day. But just Glass and Sprong is a massive fail. Massive fail. Antonio, Jack tries. Yeah, Markey, Luke, Bratter, Cotter are the main that come to mind when I think of who try to leave it all out there. I would put Nico in that group as well. I'd put Timo in there. But outside of that group, not many. Yeah, Timo and Nico. Noah has a lot of drinks in him tonight and says Devils going to the cup. Share some of what you're drinking. It's got to be like 151. Or possibly smoking, as often Devils say. Stanislav, my phone was about to die. Good night to all. I would be curious. I can't doubt Jack. He plays his ass off, and the only guys who buries pucks. I mean, yeah, our most consistent goal scorer for sure. Vic says, Noah, back from your ban, rent free. I didn't know it was banned. This is a different account. Oh, was Noah the Ranger fan that got banned? Evan says McCann was so available. Fitz just so bad he couldn't get it done. Yeah, I mean, Daniel, in all seriousness, who do you think we could realistically to help us out for next season? Are there any big names out there we have a shot at getting? I mean, there is. It's all going to depend on cap space and what Luke gets paid. I think if people are expecting like big splashes in free agency, I don't think it's going to happen, if I'm being honest. I think, Gritsuk is going to be a guy that's brought in for sure. And he'll fill one of the many holes we have. And you might see some other bottom six guys brought in. In terms of a top six, I think it's going to be tough. Without buying out Palat and possibly trading someone else out that makes good money, I think we're going to be fairly limited this summer. It's going to be hard. Evan said Devils draft record not good. Mentality has to be win now, not players. Win now players, not sit on LTIR and we have guys go down. Completely agree. Could not agree with you more, Evan. Sitting on LTIR money is grotesque. Nothing turns my stomach more than watching that. It's just crazy. When you have money available, winning teams that really want to win, they use it. They use all of it. Look at Tampa and Vegas, what they've done. When they look at what they've done when they've had LTIR money. They're like, oh, who? I forget. Who was it? Was it Stone or Was it Stone or I forget who it was. They're like, oh, you're on LTIR, and then the Lightning did it with Kucherov, and they're like, you're gonna sit out till the playoffs, and then surprise, they're miraculously healed for the playoffs. They're like 15 million over the cap, and they're out there just crushing people. Evan was at that horror show game on December 28th in Raleigh, and we never recovered the Cali trip. Was tragic. Terrible. NJD Titanic. Joshua Lee, we just got to fire Fitz, dude. Can't believe Devil's Twitter is still full of people defending that dude. I try to be more active on X just because there's so many people on there, but I have found that a lot of the people on X really just have no idea of reality. They live with their heads buried in the sand. Most of them became hockey fans in the past 5 to 10 years, and most of them don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's a lost crowd on there for the most part, but there are some sensible people on there that, that are alert to their surroundings and see through the nonsense. But a lot of them are just, I don't know. I have no idea. Chico says, no one makes it to the NHL without being insanely hyper-competitive. If you think a player is ever content on a losing team, you're just wrong. It doesn't matter if it's Nico or Gretzky. Yeah, and that's why I think there's a real reason he might be packing his bags. DK Jersey Devil, good job, Ace. Thanks for all the good content. Who was the player that Fitz was chasing at the trade deadline that went to another team? Marchand. Definitely wasn't him. I don't know. And who even knows if that story's true, right? Like, I certainly question almost everything now. I don't know. I have no idea who it was. I don't know how. That's like a layup, right? Like, when a guy says that, I don't know how immediately one of the reporters weren't like, well, who was the guy you came in second on? Even if he's not going to answer, it's a question you have to ask. Put him on the spot at least. Maybe he would answer. But, who cares? Why not answer? At that point, if you're telling us you came in second, then tell us who it was. I'd be curious to know. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if it was bullshit as well. But we'll never know. I have no idea who it was. If I had to guess, I would think maybe Brock Nelson. I mean, I have no idea what else would have made sense that was remotely realistic. It seems like Brock Nelson would be the one. But Ariel, if we miss the playoffs, it's all on our GM. He didn't go all out at the deadline. What a shame. Well, I think we're going to make the playoffs, but whatever happens in the playoffs, I use your same criteria there, and I'm going to put it on him. If we get crushed in the first round, it's going to be because we had tons of holes and obviously the injuries. But I do think with a couple guys brought in, we could have been more competitive. And I didn't want just pure rentals, just to clarify. There was tons of guy with term that could have been here for a couple years after this season that could have helped us in future years. And so for me, it's just crazy to sit on your hands and do nothing. Kazoo status, why can I never catch your lives? I don't know, Kazoo. Why can you never catch them? They're on after every single game and before a lot of them, pre-game show. But these are always on after every game for sure and beforehand for a lot of them. Ben Jam in the offseason bullshit comments are why I stopped watching for a decade. What do you mean by that? Chico's 32. Okay. Forrest, can you imagine Fitz is still around and he's the one that has to trade Nico? It will be the steal of the century for the other team. Oh, my God. That'd be in 2 more seasons from now. Brutal. Stanley, Taylor Hall would probably prefer to drink bleach over ever playing for NJ again. Pretty wild how things went so south with that dude. It is. But, wow. Dogzilla, Spalding said Spalding and Danica were talking about what great owners with deep pockets they had in Winnipeg thriving in a small market. Just rubs a little more salt in the wound for Devils fans. Yeah. There's a lot of teams that, with LTIR money are going to spend it. They're going to spend all of it and try to give their team the best chance they can. That's clearly not what's happening here. Samuel says, Hall was worth a shot. One of many better things would have been better than the AHLers we got at the deadline. Could not agree more. Jason, Ace, how big is your Grinder account? Come on, man. You know damn well I don't have that. Evan, Diehard's going down with the ship. Dirty Devil Vodka, the elixir needed to get through this, but no matter what, going to keep believing. Minnesota game's a mini playoff series, 2 versus the same team. Let's see. At this point, I'd be ecstatic to get 2 points out of the 2 games. No, however you slice it. 3 points would be great, and 4, I would maybe pass out. Brandon, come up to Winnipeg for Whiteout and experience the real playoff fan traditions everyone in every sport copies. And the beaches will be open at the start of the second round. So there's beaches in Winnipeg? Tell me more, Brandon. I'm intrigued. Toronto and Montreal are fun cities. Not so much in the winter, but in the spring, summer months when it's warm, I love both of them. Dr. Brian, where do we fall in the standings right now? Do we still have a good chance at the playoffs? Also, I feel terrible for Marky and Allen being fed pucks for dinner. They're still in the third place spot in the Metro, and statistically, you know, we're still somehow a 95% or so chance to make the playoffs. But it certainly doesn't feel like that to me, and I won't sleep well until we clinch. But in a playoff spot, no thanks to the Devils' strong play, and more so of a indictment on how bad the Metro division has been this year. I mean, we're now realistically looking at a scenario where I think I said from a couple weeks ago, I think Ottawa's going to finish with more points than us. So if Ottawa in the number one wild card spot, very good chance they finish with, we have 2 more points than Ottawa and played 3 more games. So, you know, Ottawa's looking like, I guess the number 2 team. Ottawa will finish with more points than us, I'm pretty sure. The second wild card team will not, but Ottawa probably will. Samuel said, Keefe is like a surgeon trying to work with a spoon. Evan, the Zetterlund miss is just one of many missteps by Fitz. How many swings will he have? I fear unlimited. Prove me wrong. Not unlimited, but I think way, way more time. He'll have at least next season, and who knows? If there's more injuries, maybe more. Chico, if the Devils win the 2021 Stanley Cup, I'll get Curtis Mock Turtle tattooed on my ass. I'm going to hold you to that. If we win, Curtis Mock Turtle has to get tattooed on your cheeks. Devil Dog, Montreal, better nightlife, especially for dudes, much better looking women. Lanny, Toronto would be the closest thing to an American city in Canada. No, I definitely am not going to apply it. It has to be the guy from the Devils commercials on MSG. For those of you that watch the MSG broadcast, I feel like I haven't seen those commercials in a while, but you'll know what I'm talking about. The big guy that does the tattoos in New Jersey, he's the guy that has to apply the tattoo to Chico. Devil Dog says Montreal is better than Toronto. Jay Snow, you got to go to MIC. Certain parts of Jersey are nice. Brandon, Toronto is the worst city in Canada. Quebec, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, Victoria are the must visits. Those are all Western Canada, right? I'm pretty sure Winnipeg, Edmonton, Calgary, Victoria are all Western Canada. Ariel Fernandez dropping what looks like the 1995 Stanley Cup New Jersey Devils roster here, minus a couple guys. But this is most of the 95 roster. Butchering some of the spellings, but I'll let that slide. What a team. What a team. Almost 30 years ago. Vic says, Benjamin, why do you care so much about the Devils? Go watch the Rags game rent-free. I would say if you're a Rangers fan here talking smack, that would go to the rent-free narrative about them versus, they like to say that the Rangers live rent-free in the Devils' heads, even though, again, I don't know what planet they're on. We've won 3 Stanley Cups since their last. Their last Stanley Cup was 1994. We've won 3 since they've won and knocked them out of the playoffs multiple times. Like, I don't know on what planet they believe that they've been a better franchise than the Devils. It's kind of wild. Jason Cousins, I think, is who we lost that on. Could have been him as well. What a deadline! What a deadline for Ottawa. True Patriot says I think it was Zetterlund. No, they both went to Ottawa. Look at that. That's how you win a deadline. And look at what Ottawa's been doing ever since. Dude, Ottawa's going to be I would not be shocked at all if Ottawa made it to the Cup final somehow. You heard it here first. I think they have a great blend of skill, grittiness. If Allmark gets hot, especially, I could see them getting to the Cup finals. If I wouldn't want to play Ottawa in the playoffs, absolutely not. Their building is going to be electric. They haven't been there in 7, 8 years, whatever it's been. It's going to be wild. Chico, I think a lot of newer Devils fans never registered fully that the rebuild is supposed to be over. We're not chasing picks anymore. We're not developing future stars anymore. It's time to win. Yeah, I'm curious what these people believe is the the steps needed and the years needed to be a true contender. It's kind of crazy. Maybe they're still living on the kind of, how the dream was pitched 5-6 years ago, but we're well beyond that, Chico. I fully agree. Evan, exactly what we talked about, Ace, the other day. Tampa's a good team because they have a GM. It's critical to have NHL brains working to create a strong team that expects to be a contender every year. Yeah, this has just been the pain and misery years. Brandon, Winnipeg has a fun downtown market. Just ask Raiders and Packers. Raiders and Packers when they played there. Great food. Julie Robertson, Woody Harrelson said it's their favorite city, and Winnipeg has best sports atmosphere. It's interesting. Benjamin says this place sucks. If you don't think so, you haven't been anywhere. Where do you live, Benjamin, and have you been to Winnipeg? Zach, I was the one who tweeted at you about the Chat GPT analysis of my Stanley Cup bracket. Yeah, I'm curious. What exactly did you do to make it create that? I'm curious what prompting you did. Brandon, for hockey and football, and Winnipeg is a short drive to bare lakes and beaches in the world. Woody Harrelson. Oleg, never mind the GM. We need an ownership change. That's not going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. Although, someone sent me an article about that Blitzer, one of the owners of the Devils, is selling his share of the soccer team he owns. I can only hope they sell the Devils, but I don't think they will. The fact that they own the arena makes it totally different. And I think the Devils are a nice piece of their portfolio. And so I don't think we have a chance truly to get new owners. And so the only thing you could hope for is that we get a GM that can, make some meaningful change. Stanley 62495, nothing changes until a competent front office is hired. I have very little faith in that as well. Unhinged Devs fan fell apart this time last season, not a playoff team. Keep demonstrating it. Well, they're going to be a playoff team because of how bad the Metro is. That's the reality. We're going to be a playoff team despite the front office. Devil Dog, it's Tampa's owner, Jeffrey Winnick, Jersey guy that made the franchise the way they are. Very aggressive in building a team and developing the area around the arena. All owners should be like him. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Brandon says Winnipeg is where they make more movies in the world outside of Hollywood. Okay. That's interesting. Forrest, besides downing crates of vodka, what do you think Marty is doing behind the scenes? What could he possibly be thinking? Marty's probably disgusted at how far this franchise has fallen, but it's out of his hands. He's not making personnel decisions. I've said before, I believe he's in a bunch of meetings. He gives his 2 cents. He lets his opinions be heard. And whatever the math nerds and Fitz decide to do, it's on them. But I'm sure Marty's disgusted inside. I mean, a once proud franchise is now a perennial just choke artist club talking about how bright the future is going to be. It's wild. Paul, glad I played Beer League tonight instead of watching. How'd you do in the game, Paul? True Patriot Ace, I bought tickets for Monday against the Wild so I can see Marc-Andre Fleury play. I'm actually rooting for them. It's so sad that this is what we've come to. Jay Snow, I didn't think you were going to read that. I'm not judging you. Is that what you really think of me, Jay Snow? After all this time, is that really what you believe? Brandon Lewis, Winnipeg has best beaches. South Beach has best sand and water. Grand Beach, and they have 200 lakes all around each other. Beautiful. Tom Cruise goes there fishing and jet ski and boating. Brandon Lewis, you must be on the board of tourism for Winnipeg, and if you're not, they should hire you. You're doing quite a job of pitching this thing, and you have a lot of factoids. And I'm not going to fact check them all, but you're throwing out celebrity names for clout. You're naming the beaches. You gave the Hollywood stat. I have to give you credit. You've been quite the tourism promoter here in the past couple minutes. Lanny, Jay Snow, we have some of the highest ranked freshwater beaches in North America. May long until September is lake cabin season. I like lakes and cabins. Stanley Ace handle. What am I going to do? Unhinged Devs fan, we do suck. Shame, but Hall is playing good. True Patriot. Team is straight cooked. Very easily can continue to lose and slip out of the spot. It would take a lot. But it's not. I've been saying I won't be surprised for a while. That's why I hate when the people are like, it's a given, because the people are saying it's 95% and whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. How is it remotely that high of a percent? Columbus has 3 games in hand on us, and they're behind 8 points. So obviously it's going to be very hard for them to do this. But if they won their 3 games in hand, they would have 81 points. We'd have a 2-point lead if they win their 3 games in hand. And that's and it's so sad because Columbus lost both games to us inside of a week. Had they won one of those, oh my God, we're looking at a whole different ball game. Brandon, Winnipeg is known to have the prettiest women due to weather conditions for skincare. Oh my God. He's hard selling it. Hard selling Winnipeg. Someone, heavier, edgier, more violent, fell right off after December game versus Carolina because Meier gets 5 minutes for breathing on other team's players. It's terrible. Brandon, I lived in Winnipeg and Kenora. I'm temporarily living in Windsor, which is Ontario, correct? I've been to that's close to Michigan. I'm pretty sure when I was in college, I went to the casino in Windsor. Brandon is an ambassador for Winnipeg. Lanny, Calgary is good if you like mountains, but they get some bizarre weather off of those mountains too. Can get a snowstorm in the middle of summer and then all melted hours later. That's pretty wild. Stanley says, Winnipeg can't be that bad. Any place that produces a fine human like Travis Zajac is all right in my book. Shout out to Travis Zajac. Billy D must visit St. John's is that pronounced Newfoundland or Newfoundland? God. Now we're off on the tangent of talking about tourism. It's crazy. What the hell happened to this team? How about Vancouver? Not to mention a Tkachuk. Shout out to the whole Tkachuk bloodline. Absolute beasts. Dimitri, Ace, the Rangers do not have Shesterkin. They'd be buried in the bottom of the standings. But they do have Shesterkin. And so they're still hanging on for dear life. What's a bot? What do you think is a bot, Brandon? There's a shitload of them on YouTube. And then Stanley said a bot would be a compliment for Ace. No. I'm curious. Wait, is this a real thing? There's bots in the chat now? Someone educate me. I don't know about this stuff. Bots are in chats? And you think the guy pushing the tourism is a bot? Someone explain to me. Brandon says, nah, bots are usually programmed to really like one thing. There's multiple Brandons now. Captain Mafungo, what has to happen for Fitz to actually get fired? I would say if there's not a shitload of injuries next season and they miss the playoffs, I think that would do it. I think that would do it. If he didn't have the injury excuse, we had our full team healthy for a whole year and we missed the playoffs next year, that could be the final blow. Devil Dog Blitzer is gathering cash to be sole owner of the Cleveland Guardians. He owns like 20 or 25%. That's not part of HBSE? I can't even follow. Interesting. Zach, I took the current bracket and filled in my predictions and sent it through Chat GPT asking what the odds of success were. The bracket was the tweet that the screenshots were, quote, retweet. I got it. I hate to say, I just can't see how 25% seems crazy to me. Brandon Thomas says, Brandon Lewis is probably a Winnipeg bot. It's probably in here because there is Winnipeg in the title. And so what? You think that there's no way it's a bot. I can tell you that right now. There's no way, Brandon Thomas. Brandon Lewis can't be a bot. There's very specific things he's saying that, like, the bot wouldn't say Kachuk's mother's from Winnipeg and stuff. There's no way. The bots aren't that advanced. It is funny though. There's no way that the bot would be able to connect all those dots to say that. Stanley, I wish I could love something as much as that one Brandon loves Winnipeg. That's pretty funny. Cerberus, does it matter if some of the guys are playing good now? Where was Hall, Plot, Mercer, Timo for 4 months? They are saving their jobs, and that is it. I wouldn't put Timo on that list. But different guys heat up at different times. I mean, it is what it is. It'd be nice if they all played much better all season, but it just seems like with these injuries right now, we are just going to limp. Brandon Lewis, aside from cheering my Jets and Blue Bombers, I enjoy promoting. Is the Blue Bombers the CFL team? I enjoy promoting my hometown. I enjoy promoting my hometown. I'm proud of my town. You know, that's very rare these days. Good for you. Stan says, Brandon is calling out the other Brandon as a bot. This is fascinating. I don't think it is. There's no way. Go fishing with Merce Dog. He's a newfie. Brandon Thomas says, I'm telling you, there's no shot that's a human. You really think Kachuk's mother's from Winnipeg? A bot's not going to know that, man. The irony of this is amazing. Let's go, Brandon. Stanley says, I'm legit crying. What is going on in here right now? Brandon, yeah, Ace, believe it or not, I've witnessed a bot donate to a streamer called Summit1G. You'd be surprised what they can do. I can't see it. I don't know how we could prove it to you, Brandon, but the Kachuk comment alone did it for me. Lanny, can't speak for Brandon, but I enjoy bouncing between the Jets postgame on a legal curve and whoever they played that night. That's interesting. Is a legal curve a Jets channel? Let's see. A legal curve, or is it just a hockey channel? I don't know. A legal curve. Independent sports media. That's credentialed to both the Winnipeg Jets and Moose. Very cool. Looks like they have a nice little operation there. Paul says, if bots are in the chat, I'm going to seriously start worrying about Skynet. What is Skynet? SJ says he doesn't think they're bots. Neither do I. Richard Tompkins says, beep, boop. I don't know. Jay Snow says, what is this, Russian bots? You guys are bugging. I think so, too. Devil Dog Blitzer will have an option to be sole owner of the Guardians soon, just like Harris became a sole owner of the Commanders. Well, is Harris sole owner of the Commanders? I thought it was owned by HBSE, which is the Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment. Billy says Brandon Lewis is not a bot. Jay Snow said, you think bots have invaded a Devils chat? Stanley, Winnipeg tourism bots in a niche Devils themed chat. Didn't have that on my bingo card. I don't think that that's the case, but it would be pretty funny. Devil Dog, they're trying to get a team in every major sport. Jay Snow, no one looked good tonight. They all played soft. I think so. Brandon says, I've actually been a subscriber of this channel for quite some time. I actually think it's well done channel, and I'll contribute more often. Well, thank you if you're a human or a bot. I appreciate it either way. Riot and respect recency bias. Little Timo's doing the small things, but his point production was abysmal early this year. It all comes out in the end. March of Meyer. He's going to end up with around 55 points. I mean, listen, I wanted more too. Billy D. Mercer is from rhymes with understand. Newfoundland. Lanny says, have to chase the tourists where we can find them. Heard you guys might be looking for a team to cheer on. Brutal. A bot would know that. Cerberus. Americans pronouncing provinces. Cut me some slack. Math was my subject. I'm not a, I know most of the other ones I think I could pronounce. But that one I never actually knew the real, because I've heard all the different people pronounce them differently. Devil Dog says Blitzer might be doing it just to counter Harris. Harris got an NFL team on his own, so Blitzer will go out and get an MLB on his own. Vic, Ace, you doing a pregame live tomorrow or just a postgame? I don't know. What is it, a 6 o'clock game? Tomorrow's Saturday. I I mean, I'm leaning towards probably doing a pregame too, but man, it's getting more and more painful. It is getting more and more painful. Daniel says 2 Brandons enter, 1 Brandon leaves. Richard, in local news, my kid bowled a 266 right next to Pesci's father. That's very cool. Jason says this is getting sketchy. Brandon, fun fact, I was watching the 95 Wings Devils game at my uncle's house for his B-Day. We all watched the game. When the Devils took the lead, I became enthralled with everything Devils. Very nice. Wait, so you are a Devils fan, Brandon, or are you a Jets fan? Benjamin, I'm booking a trip to Moose Jaw to attempt a Sasquatch filming. Paul, Skynet was the AI that destroyed humanity in Terminator. Okay. It's been a while. I was asking the same thing, SJ. Ryan, man, Ace, I'm going to the game on Monday. Hope to see you there. I don't even know if I could drag myself there. I might have to, though. I wanna see I think I want to see Flowers' last appearance. Stanley says bots cannot be reasoned with. They don't feel pity or remorse. Brandon, I'm sure if that was a human, it would try and prove itself. No, it hasn't even responded about being called out a bot. I am curious about that, Brandon Thomas. Brandon Lewis, are you a bot? Can you confirm or deny? This is interesting. Brandon Thomas, you might be onto something, because I was thinking the same thing in my head, but I was waiting to see. Yeah, Brandon Lewis, are you a bot? I'm now intrigued. Brandon says, Jets fan, I am, but I'm intrigued with everything New Jersey. Morristown is one of my favorite towns. Yo, Jay Snow, where you get coming up with these lame jokes, man? Metal Anderson, skip the pregame tomorrow and watch Yegorov. What time did I say that was? I already forgot. I could have it on as well. Evan, Minnesota, last team for us to see this year. Let's make these two like the first team we saw this year when we beat up Buffalo. Heavy Devils fans up here make us proud boys. Love this team. Benjamin is now on the bot boat as well. Prove yourself, Brandon Lewis. Are you a bot? But what would be the point of the bot, though? That's what I don't understand. And if it is a bot, I'm way more terrified of bots and AI and all this shit than I ever was. For them to talk about Kachuk's mother or whatever was like a random thing is kind of scary. Wow. I'm not going to lie. With that last comment, yeah. I'm now on the wagon that you said, Brandon. I think you called it. What a genius call. Newfoundland is how you say it, Billy? Newfoundland. And make it a T. Oh, wait. Never mind. No, I'm not a bot, but I've been called worse. Nope, I'm back on. If it wasn't for that, I would say it was a bot. I don't know why, because it was ignored for a bunch of times. Man, True Patriot says Travis Green laughs all the way to the finals. Could totally see it. Ottawa has that great mixture. But again, I don't know how much I could say. I have to give him some credit as the coach, but I give that more credit to the players on his team and his GM for juicing that lineup at the deadline. But Travis Green certainly gets some of the credit as well, for sure. Lanny says, good time to meet Minnie. They're pretty much running on fumes right now. Beachmaster, if Harris and Blitzer have a falling out, might sell. That'd be amazing. Ben James is definitely a bot after that one. Brandon Thomas, bots can read the chat and listen to the stream. They will also never admit they're a bot. But in the things you're talking about, Brandon Thomas, what is the benefit? Like, what would the bot be trying to accomplish, I guess, is what I'm trying to figure out. Paul says he's a cybernetic organism. Devil Dog, Ace, getting all these teams in all these leagues is probably not going to be good for Devils. They appear to be spreading themselves too thin. There's no way they'll be able to spend to cap ceiling. No, I think they could spend to the cap ceiling. They have crazy money. But the problem is spending above the cap ceiling in an LTIR situation. And that's what teams really trying to win does. These guys have plenty of money to pay whatever they need to. They choose not to. Brandon, I was always fascinated with the Brendan Byrne Arena. Check this out. When you used to watch a New York Ranger or New Jersey game on TV, you'd always see a dark color black substance within the ice. Anyone else notice? No, I don't know. Evan, really hoping Rags fall apart and lose tonight versus Ducks. Sucks to be a scoreboard watching nightly. It's terrible. But now Columbus is probably the team to watch again. And it's crazy. If we didn't beat them both games, we would probably be screwed. Luckily, we beat them head-to-head in both of those games. That's a huge swing, even if we split them. Yeah, as of right now, Jackets are the biggest threat, followed by Islanders, followed by Rangers. But it's all close. Stanley says the bot is denied being a bot. It's become self-aware. Canadian maritime accent, very distinguishable. And Billy says, and I'm not a bot. True Patriot ownership has little interest in making Devils better, in my opinion. They shelved the LTIR monies 2 years in a row. Commanders and 76ers more important. It's definitely possible. Brandon says, has anyone met Frank the Tank at a Devils game? I've seen him in passing. I didn't talk to him. I'm sure lots of people have talked to him at games. Brandon Thomas, I'm not exactly too sure, but I think YouTube makes them and watch random videos and rake the ad revenue. That ad revenue is paltry. The ad revenue is non-existent, really. Lanny, Keith Kachuk played in Winnipeg for years and met his wife here. When we got a new team, she put together a Winnipeg booklet for all the former Thrashers players, best restaurants, shopping, etc. Oh, wow. That's very cool of her. True Patriot says Ace could lose 4 or 5 straight easily. Oh, it'd be ugly. Super ugly. Metalander, there used to be something called bluing added to the ice to reduce glare for TV. Stanley says, if I'm picking a Brandon to trust, I think I'm picking Thomas. No offense, Lewis. That's really cool. Richard, watching Rags versus Ducks. Ducks on orange look like a bunch of road players. Rags will get that $11.5 million they dished out to Shesterkin. Wow. Rangers up 3-2 with 17 minutes left. Sean said we had a package last year. Frank, this is Tank the Tank, but Frank the Tank sat directly behind us. He was brutal. One of the most negative people I've ever interacted with. In what way, Sean? Just because he yelled? Does he yell constantly at the game, or is that whole thing an act? I don't know, but I could see it being some like a shtick that he does. True Patriot, I haven't watched the game since the last Jets beating. I checked out and just get phone updates. They make me sick to my stomach. It's pretty bad. Antonio, so legitimately, what is the reaction if we win the first round of the playoffs? Surprise, laughter, confusion, or that we knew we had it in us the whole time? I would be surprised, but it wouldn't be the biggest shock. I still, the reality is they've shown stretches where they were a good team. And so while they've been super inconsistent and lately it's been painful, I would be surprised, but not like, it wouldn't be the shocker of the century. It's the playoffs is a whole new beast. But at this point, they're going to be a massive underdog. Possibly the biggest underdog betting wise in the entire playoffs. I think that is possible. We could be like a minus or like a plus 350, plus 400, I think, which might be one of the biggest spreads across the league. Sean says constantly yelling. Brandon says, I watched Frank the Tank intermission take, and he was having a meltdown. He does not like Shimo Nemitz. That doesn't surprise me. NJ got lucky. Columbus faded a little. True Patriot says, can't see them winning a round. Antonio, doubt they get more than a game. I mean, that's pretty fair. Jason, no, we can't beat anyone good. That's just a fact. Devil Dog, maybe they were drunk and slurring. Huge spread, says Benjamin. Stanley, I don't think anyone likes Nemitz. I think he's going to develop into a good player, but it's, we need players right now, unfortunately. Stanley, Lanny, what's the concern level with Markstrom staying healthy? It's not that big of a concern. I mean, he's here for one more year. I've openly said I could see him being here for another year after that if he plays well next year, but who knows? Like, that injury could be something really bad. I hope it's not. But My concern level is more so of what is the goaltending plan for the long term at this point. Sean nonstop had players he hates and just screamed at how much they sucked every night. Did not make last year any easier for us. Probably 10 of the games I went to. Ooh, that's rough. He was behind us. Jason says if we lose tomorrow, I would start to worry. I don't know. Again, tomorrow starts your worries. My worries started in January. Brandon, Ace, if it was possible in the offseason in a unicorn world, do you let Keefe go and pick up John Torts? No, I don't. I like Torts a lot, but I would more so try to get him on the coaching staff as opposed to, replacing Keefe with him. Because in the end, Torts is not going to make a miracle out of this roster as it stands today. Billy D, I just dropped in after watching my Habs lose, but this is entertaining. I'm curious, Billy, how did you end up here, by the way? I'm always curious how fans of other teams end up here. I guess, it's sensible for the team we were playing, so I could totally understand how Jets fans might end up in here after we played the Jets, but I'm curious for a team that wasn't even, in the game. Please do not again with Torts. True Patriot, that's a great question. Captain Fungo, what did he say? He must be responding to something from a while ago. I don't see his thing. I think his time has come out. Like a new medical staff. These guys, Blackwood was always hurt. Jack was always hurt. Dougie was always hurt. I mean, if they're injury prone, what are you going to do? True Patriot says not a bot. Dogzell says has to be a bot if Morristown is favorite town. Brandon, huge question. Okay, 2 years ago, there were rumors about Hellebuck being traded to New Jersey, and most NJ Insiders fans were tacky in offer speculations. Now, today, do you change opinion? I'm on video talking about it. I don't remember exactly what I said in the video. This was a while ago, but I remember saying I wanted him. And that's one of my first videos from this thing. Why does YouTube make it so hard to June 29th, 2023? I'm actually curious what I said in the video. Oh my God, I cringe looking at my earlier videos. They were pretty painful. But yeah, I made a video about it saying I wanted him back then. And that was June 29th. Benjamin, long-term goaltending is a big issue, so you're right on that. Sadly, we are going nowhere. We needed to patch leaking ship 3 weeks ago. No one thought it was necessary. We are tubed again. I think that the leaking ship needed to be patched 2 months ago. I definitely thought it was necessary, but I don't work for the team, so, my opinion is useless. But 2 months ago, I thought there was clear problems that needed to be addressed. Lanny thought for sure Torts would be moving to the office. Totally caught me by surprise that they turfed him this late. It is kind of interesting. A lot of people were pointing to that press conference, but who knows? Maybe they're just like the team zone, checked out on him, and it's time for a new voice. Devil Dog Torts would have been fine with the 2014 to 2019 Devils team, not with this team. Antonio, I work with with a ton of Flyers fans, like everyone in the office except one guy. I'm the only Devils fan. When I asked him about Torts, they all just shrugged and said, whatever, it could be worse. Brandon, would you trade Mercer, 2 firsts, Holtz, and a vet player for what? Mercer, 2 firsts, Holtz, and a vet player for what exactly? Cerberus, what the hell would a new medical staff to give Jack a bionic arm? I don't see how you could blame the medical staff. If these guys are injury prone and they're getting injured, what is the medical staff supposed to do outside of giving him a metal Terminator arm like Cerberus suggested? Jason, how many Devils got smoked tonight, Ace, with no response? Yeah, the heavier edger, more violent is just... I thought Dylan might pound the guy that ran over Allen early. Obviously a smarter play that he didn't, just because there was a penalty called on the play. So and it may have been one of his former buddies may have played a part of it, but I thought there was definitely some opportunity, to throw a big hit or try to change some momentum while we were still in the game. 3-0 was obviously the dagger, but even when it was 2-0 real quick, a fight or a big hit could kind of change momentum in your favor. And I thought, the team in December would have done something like that. Down 2-0 early, you look for something to swing momentum in your favor and fire up the boys, whether it's a big hit, a fight, whatever, something. And it was just lifeless. Billy D just looked at what live shows were on YouTube, and this was right there. It's very interesting. I never know how people find it. I always like to know. Jay Snow, Ace, what happened to the guy with insane trade ideas? That's Tim. He pops up here and there. That's kind of his shtick now. Dogzilla, if a bot is tapped into something like Grok 3, can believe it, spend an hour researching JFK files, and is to Sam Giancana's Hitman in Dallas, led by Charles Nicoletti. Very impressive AI. SJ, to be honest, didn't want to pay Helly, but in retrospect, should have obviously been happy for him legit chance at a cup. He would have made the Devils a cup contender, I believe. I wanted him badly. Whenever you get a chance to get a stud in net, you do it. I was not sold on Schmid and Vanacek, and gladly would have paid Hellebuck the money. Stanley says, Running with the Devils is slowly coming up a variety channel. I don't know about that. Benjamin, we need to become an older Devils team. That is exactly the issue. We're just talking about the youth and inexperience. I've thought we've needed some veterans for a while. I think the leadership is lacking for Hellebuck. Mercer, 2 firsts, Holtz, and a vet player. That's way too much for Hellebuck. Let's be real. But at the time. But I think I would have traded a first for sure, Mercer, Holtz, and maybe some other players. Yeah, I'm not too far away on that trade package. I think 2 firsts is greedy, but I think like I think there was some realistic options there. True Patriots Sky. Oh yeah, we talked about that before. Brandon, there's a lot of rumors. Torts gave the Flyers GM so much shit for not doing anything at the trade deadline, and Torts made a comment about coaching a team not serious. Then they let him go. I would respect him for that. I'm curious to see if he does any interviews, in the next couple of days and just throws shade at them and says that. I would respect him even more if he was like, they did nothing to help me, they let me drown. I would love to see it. Antonio Ace, I see people chalking this January to now stretch up to injuries. Weren't they already on the downfall without the start of the majority of the injuries? I'm pretty sure we were already losing. Yeah, they were. The trouble signs were already there before the injuries, right? And when it was ignored and, hands in the pockets, hope and wish, then the injuries hit, and then it compounds the problems even more. The problems were happening well before the injuries. You're correct. The writing was on the wall. I pressed the panic button late January, and then the injuries happened, and it was a wrap. And it was just too much to overcome. Brandon says at the time, Devils fans laughed at that. The offers in return were horrible. Well, I mean, what are you making nonsense hypothetical trades with idiots on X? I mean, that's gonna happen. Van Whalen says Ace Keefe is losing the locker room. Same happened in Toronto. I don't think he is. How is he losing the locker room? These guys need to play with some friggin' heart. How did he lose the locker room? By making that Kovacevic comment because the reporter kind of served it up? Cerberus, here's a real question. Yes, I know it won't happen. If it were completely up to you, would you sit Jack Hughes till February, March and tell him when he has healed, he has to bulk up 15 pounds? No, we don't have that kind of time. Hopefully, I don't know what the true timeline of his injury thing is, but the second he gets, the second he's able to, he should start trying to bulk up for sure. Beachmaster running our goalie, Dylan, pissed me off. We were about to get the power play, so he would have been stapled to the bench if he retaliated and negated the power play. I mean, that was a smart play, but he should have taken a number and went back for some later. Sook says, I'm going to say Sook. I'm so happy that I get to watch Justin Dowling every other night. No other fan base can say that. Absolutely. Queens, New York fella, rather. McDermott should be playing every game if we're over 500 when he plays in the lineup. That should be an indictment on Keefe. Well, all the people told me I'm crazy and that, that's coincidence. I don't find it to be a coincidence. I think there's been way too much of a sample space for it to be a coincidence, but it is what it is. I don't think we're going to see him too much down the stretch. Maybe the Ranger game, maybe the Flyer game. I'm curious to see. He definitely should play in those two. Jason, no, Tim asks if we trade 3 players, 2 fans, the guy that sells hot dogs in row 7 for Cale McCarr. True Patriot, I'm rooting for either Wild if they get in for Fleury, Billy Guerin is GM, and Boldy is legit. Kaprizov returns and lights it up. They would be one of the first teams I would root for as well. Dogzilla, Big Mac 100% should be in. Hockey gods are punishing the Devils for wasting Big Mac. Monday, Marc-Andre Fleury night. Billy D, Torts is old school. Young players don't respond the same for sure. Roman Czechmonic, this team isn't young at all, and that isn't the issue at all. Even the vets are soft with all the struggles. Luke is the only player whose youth can be an issue. Look at the average age in year. I guess I would say more impact players that are veterans. It's like most of our veterans are defensemen or bottom 6 guys. I would like more. I mean, at this point, though, really, Nico and Brad are vets. It's just crazy, man. It all just is a mess. Brandon Lewis. Okay, question for you. I enjoy your channel. I like your live game vlogs. I have 2 as for you and wish this was done in a future show. Okay, I guess the question's coming. Doug, what do you even do about constant injury issues with the same players? I mean, I know it's mainly luck, but something has to change. Yeah, you get players that don't get injured constantly. I mean, like it or not, some guys are injury prone, and you know who they are. And so if you're counting on them for a whole season plus the playoffs, it's a fool's errand. They've shown that they're not going to be that, and it is what it is. Van Willen says, Austin Matthews hinted at Keith losing the locker room towards the end of his last season with the Leafs. This is going to be his trend. Well, who knows how he went about things there, though? I mean, that he was there much longer. I think that's very different than a guy in his first season. Brandon, I personally think we have a roster that simulates a real job where 3 people do all the work and all the others put the bare minimal work in. Oh, man. Brandon, what is the famous pregame restaurant or food truck Devils fans go to? I don't think there is one currently. I would say it's just the 2 bars directly across the street from the arena now. There's not much else. We don't have a great game day kind of atmosphere set up like I've seen with the Whiteouts. There's 2 bar restaurants that are directly like a stone's throw away from the arena. And then outside of that, you kind of have to venture out. And so I would say American Whiskey and Reds are the two restaurant, bar restaurants right across from the Rock, and that would really be it. Stanley Keefe is going to tell Boozeface to go F himself and head back to Toronto with his family. I just get this feeling that he didn't anticipate how much of a circus this organization is. No chance he quits. It's just too much money. There's no point in quitting. He just got to kind of bite his tongue and ride it out. There are a lot of poopsies on this team for sure. Question is, how do you man them up if they're soft as baby poop at the core? I don't think you can. Unfortunately, I don't think you can. And so the only way to fix it is to bring in the right players. If you have a flawed roster, it's a flawed roster. Brandon, is there a viewing area where Devils fans make playoffs like a Plaza outside arena? Playoff vlogs would be great to see. I'll probably do playoff vlogs, but it's going to be mostly, I mean, there is like a pregame, they have like a little carnival type thing outside. It's nothing phenomenal, but there's sometimes there's like a beer tent. Sometimes the Hall of Fame will do like a mobile installation. You'll have a live band. You have some stuff. It's like Fan Plaza, Fan Fest, whatever the hell they call it. But I actually did film some of that in 22-23, Brandon. If you look on my channel, there definitely is some videos of, that kind of footage from the last time we were in the playoffs. Let me see. Coincidentally, no one really cared about it or watched it. I'll put the link there. There's a couple of videos. I just went to my page and searched FanFest. But yeah. Richard, easier said than done, but a good mixture of vet/winners with youth gives balance. And for the youngsters, how to handle adversity. Need an enforcer on Jack's line like they did with Gretzky. I mean, different world, but I would just like a little bit of a scrappy scoring winger would be nice. Lanny, can't compare Toronto to New Jersey. Toronto's Fab Four are so coddled that anytime Keefe would try to criticize any of them, he was forced by management to walk it back the next day. That's terrible. Would like to say what's up to you Monday if you could bring yourself to Flower Night. I got to really see. I wanted to. Man, another stinker would make it tough, but this is a historic thing. Flower's been a great player for a while. Brandon, also when the Devils come to the ice on TV, it looks like they walk up like 50 stairs before the ice. Is this accurate? I don't know if it's that. It's a little bit of a ramp, it looks like. I've never been in there. Doug, how long would you wait before making the changes we're thinking of? I would try to do it. You can't do it all overnight. It starts with this offseason is the first step of it. And then during next season and then the following offseason is when it has to be complete. Checkmonic Jack will never be safe from injuries. You will have to get a roster that can handle his injuries, and we have the opposite of that. We can't compensate. Even Siegs and Doug, you're injury-prone. Luke next. It's wild. Van Walen, Toronto is a better team, though. Keefe had a way better team with the Leafs than he does with the Devils. He is not the answer for Jersey. Well, who's the answer? There is no answer with this roster. The answer is getting a competitive roster. This is not a competitive roster right now. True Patriot Devils need a new medical staff. Team is riddled with nagging injuries. I can't blame the medical staff for that either. And what the hell are they going to do? Yeah. Was surprised to see Keefe call out ex-Hab Kovacevic. Never saw him call out a Leaf. Benjamin, I know an MD attached to the Devils. He's a top-notch guy and a great doctor. Brittle is as brittle does. Yeah, what can they do? What can they do? They can't, replace their bones with steel plates, titanium plates. Smash the likes or smash your head into the wall to say, man, hit the like for your boy. Appreciate that. Brandon, I have to be the guy. I feel like this team is serious. I think we trade Jack for a player that's very consistently good. Jack hasn't completed a full season yet. I know the organization will never trade this. I can't entertain these things. You know the organization is never trading him. So what are we talking about? They're all in on the Hughes business, and that's fine. But talking about potential trades is just a complete waste of time. It's simply not going to happen. So I can't even waste my breath talking about it. It's just a complete, non-issue, in my opinion. Devil Dog Keefe can easily get a job in Buffalo and drive home after every game once Ruff is gone shortly. Oh, boy. Lanny, Winnipeg had to put a cap on their playoff viewing parties because there were too many people and it was becoming a safety issue. Yeah, that's a rabid hockey market, right? I mean, it's a night and day. New Jersey versus Canadian markets and some original 6 markets. They have a rabid fan base. We do not. It's unfortunate in some ways, but it is what it is. Jason, we missed playoffs. We're just going to run things back again. There'll be some changes in the season. I mean, in the off season, but what do you mean by run things back? At all the big things will be ran back. You're having the same coach, the same GM, the same core players, and you're going to see some tinkering, but in the end, you're running back mostly, the main ingredients will be the same. The bottom 6 will be different. Sook, I think you're right, Ace. There's no fixing some of the manhood issues on this team. I agree. The only way you fix it is replacing them with new players. Benjamin, yeah, Ace, some crazy smack spoken. Thanks for hanging in. I really missed the high vibes pre-Christmas. That was a nice time. December was phenomenal. I was flying high. I was dreaming of a cup run, and it wasn't delusional at the time. SJ Jack needs a Tom Wilson type, but they are rare. Tom Wilson is super rare. A guy that could do all the things he does at his size, and wow. Devil Dog, the stress of him missing his family is getting to him. Never heard of a coach flying home to be with his family like Keefe does by flying back to Toronto each off day. That's unusual. I think it is as well, but I can't blame. I don't think this subpar roster that he has, would matter if he did that or not. Doug said hockey is their culture here. It's the least viewed major team sport. Correct. Hockey is everything in Canada. It's religion. It's in your blood. And in America, it is a distant fourth. Very true. Roman Czechmonic, staying healthy is a skill. That's why I think Bratter's our best player. It's been years that the players haven't lasted through the season. The tank rebuild years up until now. Yeah. Bratter's got a solid core and lower body. He stays on his skates. He's pretty good at avoiding hits for the most part. Mark, hey, Ace, I skipped this comedy show to go see a real one tonight. Kyle Kinane, it was great. Where was that, by the way, Mark? I've heard that guy before. I love comedy. I think I'll probably know him if I see his face. Brandon says that Devil Dog Keefe is probably having a mental breakdown coaching this team. Can't imagine how stressful it is. Jason, no, same core again. At what point do they say this core isn't it? If they stay fully healthy for next year, I think then you would see maybe something done. Yeah, I think that would be next year should be do or die with it. At some point, you have to blow it up. Yeah, maybe after next year. Jason, no, we're not winning anyway, not even getting close to a cup. Devil Dog, I mean, the poor guy weighs like almost 300 pounds. Now you're talking about Keefe? I don't think he weighs that much. It's possible, but I don't think so. Sook, they won't blow it up until they start losing money. I don't think losing money is possible. With the lucrative TV deals and the ticket sales and all the other shit, I don't think it's possible to lose money, especially when you own the building. I feel like it's impossible for them to lose money at this point. Devil Dog, and this is one of the least stressful coaching jobs in the league. That certainly is. With the expectations, I think, from the fans, the media, everything about it's super easy. New Mexico, I forgot. Yeah, you're out there. Tom Wilson is a unicorn. Still amazed he didn't make Team Canada. Maybe they give him a look next time around. Canada's so deep, though. Stanley says 300 is a bit much. I'm going 250. Brandon, I disagree. Hockey is fourth. In many cities, hockey is bigger than NBA and MLB or even NFL. I'm trying to think. Could that be true? I don't think so. But overall, if you just look at the league viewership and everything else, hockey is a super, super distant fourth. Now, in some markets, could you make the argument that hockey's bigger? Sure. But in the end, as a blanket rule, whatever you want to call it, across America, hockey is a distant fourth, and it's not even close. Doug, the fact that all three Hughes brothers from Florida made it to the NHL, let alone all top 7 overall picks, one being first overall, is crazy. You can't trade either Hughes just to have an identity outside of that. Brandon Thomas, if this team is going on the Jack train, I wouldn't expect to win anything. How can we expect to make the playoffs or even make it past round 1 with half the team missing every year? Yeah, hockey's fourth in America for sure. Mark said, Winnipeg is the armpit of Canada. Hockey is all they got to distract themselves from their miserable lives. Winnipeg used to be like the drug capital of Canada. I never knew that. Jason said, look at how low hockey salaries are compared to other sports. It's so true. Sook says, 265, book it. That's interesting. Hockey may even behind MLS at this point, says Stanley. I mean, depends on what metric you use to measure it, right? Benjamin, Ari, the Cash, we're so screwed in the New York City metro area. No love. Doug, how many Americans do you know have a rink in their backyard? Yeah, compared to, Canada, Canada's probably 100x. True Patriot says medical guys rehab these guys, Ace. I'm sorry, I'm not buying a True Patriot. If a guy's got a freaking broken bone or a torn pec, I mean, what can they do? There's nothing they could do. Trouba tripped over Igor's stick, went awkwardly into the boards and left. That's interesting. Hockey's expensive to play. It is. Obviously, ice time, equipment, all very, very expensive. Brandon says Minneapolis, Chicago, Detroit, Las Vegas, Miami now, Carolina, St. Louis. True Patriot constantly getting hurt. We need a change in culture and staffing there. Billy says, you guys still seem well in a playoff spot. Why the concern? Because we've been terrible for 3 months, Billy. One of the worst 5 teams in the league in the calendar year 2025. Rowan says, behind MLS is crazy. There's so many more fans at hockey games over 82 games. You're definitely stretching, Brandon. Brandon Lewis says, Las Vegas is literally a hockey town. The Raiders are irrelevant there. Are the Golden Knights bigger than the Raiders? And I guess winning a cup fairly quickly would play a big part in that as well. Devil Dog, Canada's a colder climate, is more conducive for natural ice, so it's a lot easier to have an ice rink in your backyard. That's all true, but it's also, a way bigger sport there. Meadowlander, it's pretty amazing when you stop and think that this area supports 3 professional hockey teams in a 20-mile radius. It's a little more than that, but it is crazy. The Devils, Rangers, and Islanders. Lanny said, Mark, it's the murder capital. Never came close on the drugs. All right, it's that time. Taking a 2-minute bathroom break, and we'll start to wrap this up. Throw any thoughts, comments, questions, suggestions, whatever you got. We will start ringing this thing down. Appreciate you all. Cheers to all you. I've been nursing this one too. Yeah, it's time to start winding it down. So throw it all out there, and I will start winding it down when I return from the bathroom. Comments, questions, whatever you got, suggestions. I like the suggestions. We've gotten some good ones over the past couple days. Throw it all out there. I'll be back in about 2 minutes, and we will finish up. Closing time. Back in 2 minutes. All right, I'm back. Start winding this thing down. Appreciate all of you staying up late night with your boy on Friday night / Saturday morning. Stanley, some Devils fan built an ice rink in his backyard in Ridgewood, Queens. That's pretty cool. Devil Dog, when I lived in North Jersey, I would have built an effing ice rink in my yard. You might not be able to use it too much, but you probably get at least a few weeks use out of it total in the winter for sure. Mark says VGK is popular because of a lot of tourists and transients. I think that's correct. Tourism obviously helps. If you're in Vegas and you like hockey, you go check out a game. SJ hockey will never be number one for America, sadly. I don't even think they could ever go to number 3. I mean, what would they? I can't see them passing football, baseball, or basketball. Brandon says hockey is massive in USA, just lacks coverage due to DEA hiring. I think you meant DEI, but I mean, all right. Lanny, Knights were in Vegas at the time of the shootings and became a fabric of the community through that shared experience. What a terrible thing that was. That's the guy that shot into the concert, right? I mean, wow, what a tragedy. Completely insane. I remember when I heard that, I was like, what the hell? People are sick. Devil Dog, don't remember lakes or ponds freezing over regularly in North Jersey to allow you to skate safely since the 80s. I think there's at least a good couple weeks every winter for sure where it's good enough to skate. I was out on the local pond one time this winter, but I think there was a good week or two, maybe even a couple weeks apart. There was stretches where it was cold enough for long enough for it to be good. Brandon says, Billy D, I think we confused the bot. Doesn't know how to answer. Lanny, still have a good 30 inches of ice in my favorite ice fishing spot, but it'll probably be open water in another 3 to 4 weeks. Where's that, Lanny? Jason said Rangers could only be 5 points back after the San Jose game. There we go, boys. It's official. It's a bot. Claims Winnipeg is his city. Now claims Dallas is his city. Where did it claim Dallas? Drug enforcement is ruining the growth of hockey. Yeah, the DEA is the drug enforcement. Is that an administration or drug enforcement agency, maybe? Devils 25. Do you think Dawes gets another look? Not this season. There's a scenario in which you see him next year, but I don't think you're going to see him this year for sure. Doug, I mean, even from a hobby aspect of sports in America, golf is higher than hockey too. Oh, if you're talking about people that play, absolutely. I know shit tons of my friends play golf. No one plays hockey. That's completely true. Now, watching golf, I mean, I'd rather watch NBA or NFL, but in terms of playing, yeah, golf playing has gotten huge. Brandon says, have a great night. Great show. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Brandon. Take care. Devil Dog 7 says DEA. Brandon Thomas has me sold 1,000% bot. I don't know, but what would the point of a bot be? That's why I don't get. What is the angle here? Make it make sense for me. Brandon Lewis says, are you planning on any big shows? What do you mean by that, Brandon? Any big shows? I don't know what that means. Devil Dog, Rangers are 9 points back right now. Okay, yeah, Drug Enforcement Agency. That's what I thought. Boom, boom, boom. Open the door. ATF. I know what ATF is. I don't know about DEA. Alcohol, tobacco, firearms. March Madness 101, 102. What a game that was. I haven't watched any March Madness. I've just been wallowing in devil's sorrows. What's the tie game? Oh, the Ducks tied it. Ooh, the Ducks tied it with a minute 45. Hopefully they beat them. The Rangers are going to get at least a point, though. Roman Czechmonic, if they get clapped by the Rangers, I might have to move on from the Devils. I might give them another year after we get swept by the Canes. I'm at my wit's end. I'll never give up, but, man, it's brutal. Completely brutal. Go Boro says, hockey needs a Space Jam Mighty Ducks for the 21st century. I agree. Mighty Ducks was definitely huge in growing hockey for kids, for sure. What a monumental time for the sport. I totally agree with that. Where's Jonathan G? Ducks score again. Screw the rest. Brandon says, I think people make a shitload of bots that collect data to make them better. But, like, what data would they be collecting here? It's so weird. Jay Snow, if we lose to Minnesota tomorrow, which we probably will, and they beat the Sharks, it's 5 points. Gross. Gross. Jay Snow says Ducks will still lose. Devils 25, NBA to change format and do a Four Nations type All-Star game next year. Obviously, it was very, the Four Nations was wildly successful. Stanley, even if they could hold them to a point, that would be awesome. Yeah, better than the two, for sure. Doug, Canes right now are looking at the first round like the Rangers did with the Caps last season. It could be. Just a massacre. Go Boro, hope you're okay. AC, I'm fine. It's just depressing. Benjamin, my massive crypto account at stake. I don't know what that means. Jay Snow, then we play the Rangers with a gigantic game. Want to see a lot of fisticuffs. A lot of fisticuffs. Billy, enjoyed the show and subscribed. Appreciate you guys. Take care. Thanks a lot, Billy. Appreciate that. True Patriot Ace, med staff rehabs these guys. Something is off. Nothing is off. They're not miracle workers, man. If the guy is a broken whatever, like there's nothing they could do other than time or straight up rushing them back, which I don't think is going to happen either. Just like force them back in the lineup when they're injured. We have guys that are brittle. It sucks, but I can't blame the medical staff for that. Like Jack hits a fluke thing with Jack Eichel, gets tied up, goes flying into the boards and breaks his shoulder, whatever the hell happened. Need a reboot of Slapshot. That would be interesting. Or just milk another Mighty Ducks. I know they did the series. I didn't get to see any of it, but a movie would be epic. AI thievery. Go Boro. I hate to say it, but I can see Rempe crunching one of our guys again while McDermott is benched straight back to ground zero. That'd be horrible. Jay Snow, having no Luke is just a killer right now. Yeah, I mean, Luke is, especially now with Dougie and Siegenthaler being out, Luke is one of our best defensemen, especially offensively. I mean, there's no offense coming from the blue line outside of Luke and Hamilton. And so you look at that alone, and it's true. Like, him not playing is a massive, massive loss. Benjamin, poor management for years is the central issue. I agree for sure that it's the central issue, but then it's compounded with injuries and with tons of other shit. Guys just falling off a cliff and not producing, the injuries. There's so many things. Yeah. But I don't know, guys. I am in a world of pain right now. I'm hoping we could pull off a win tomorrow, but it's just like other people have pointed out. It's just consistently inconsistent. A win, a loss, a win, a loss. And, yeah. It's just a tough world. All right, but I think that's it, guys. So it's time to wrap it up. What a painful night. Painful night. Jason says, Ace, we have the most immobile D-core in hockey. They're slow and can't shoot. I don't know about in all of hockey. And again, I think a guy like Seamus Casey plugged in the lineup kind of changes the overall. I don't know. I definitely want to see Seamus Casey at this point. I've seen enough, especially with Luke out. How do you not put Seamus Casey in? If Luke doesn't play the next game, I'm going to be furious if Casey doesn't play. Casey deserves to play over one of Nemitz and Dumoulin. Or not Dumoulin, Chalowski. So leave Dumoulin in, but Casey should definitely play in place of either Chalowski or Nemitz. One of the two. You got to put Seamus Casey in there. Put an offensive threat in there and see what happens. I mean, we've been playing terribly. Who cares? They have concerns about Casey's defense. Like, at this point, I don't even care. Put him out there and let's see. Lanny, cheers, guys. Hope your Devils get it turned around. Thanks, Devil Dog. Thanks, Ace. Good night. Benjamin, thanks for your efforts and hanging around. See you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow. Doug, don't worry, Ace. The future is bright. Don't make me vomit. Don't make me puke, Doug. Evan, Rags blew two two-goal leads in this game in Anaheim. At least they suck just as much as we do right now. Turn out in Minnesota tomorrow. Let's go, Devils. Jason, Pesci shoots 10 miles an hour. Vic says OT. Isn't the game in OT? Rangers still get 2 points. Good night, guys. The sun will rise tomorrow. Ducks win. Nice. So the Rangers only got 1. Big point wiped off the board for them late. Look, they were 1:45 away from a regulation victory and getting 2 points, and they lose in OT. Love to see it. Yeah, Mason McTavish. What a player. He's a great player. He won it at 59 seconds. Prevents the Rangers from picking up 2 points. It's sad. This is what it's come to. We have to constantly watch the scoreboards and root for other teams to lose to help our tragic team limp into the playoffs. Nice. Says thanks. Thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. Thanks. Ducks win. Ducks win. Rags lose in OT. This is bad for the Rangers. Rags lost in OT. Where's Jonathan G? Someone call him. True Patriot. All right, Ace. Time to land the plane. Good night. Team is buns, and tomorrow's another day. Yeah, it's true. Devils 25. Thanks, Ace. Thumbs up. Have a good night. All right, guys. Thanks for coming out on a tragic evening. Your New Jersey Devils go to Winnipeg and just get smoked. The game was over before it started, and the goal they scored at 58 seconds into the game was all they needed. 58 seconds in puts the Jets up 1-0, and that's the game-winning goal. Completely pathetic. The Devils lose 4-0. Looked absolutely lifeless, and hopefully we see a brand-new team tomorrow. Markey's going to be back in net, and all we could hope for is a better day. But that's it, guys. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't checked out some of the other stuff on the channel, check that out. I did a Devils Talk with Pasha from Spittin' Chicklets. The Cam Jansen interview part 3 is premiering Sunday night. Hope to see some of you there. I'll be in the chat. And that's it. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Follow me on X if you're not. Appreciate that. I'm starting to be a little more active there. X and Instagram both. I'm looking to do some cool stuff on there as well. I'll give you guys those links real quick, right? Just shameless plugs. Follow your boy on X. If you're on X, follow me. Link in the chat. And if you're on Instagram, follow your boy on Instagram. I'm on there too. I'm going to start doing some cool stuff on those. You'll see some stuff you won't see that's not like YouTube. That doesn't make sense for YouTube, but some other stuff I'll be putting up on those. And that's it. That's it. Thanks for coming out. Be back tomorrow. I'll probably do, just because I'm a glutton for punishment, I will probably do a pregame as well as a postgame tomorrow. Hopefully there's something better on the ice for us to watch. Hopefully we somehow find a way to win. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends. Let's go Devils.